USD 49. Chloe, Tara, Anthony, Olivia, Sky Lynn, Tracy, Brandy, Cade, Kylie, Braden, Peyton, Caden, Audra, Alan, Amber, Peyton, probably messed that one up, Willow, Elizabeth, Merrill, and Healy. All right. I knew Alan when he was just a little baby. Time flies, huh? Okay, we'll move to public comment. There's an opportunity for folks to speak to board members.
No, we got to vote on
Consent agenda.
Nah. Yes, I apologize for that. Okay, I'm going to call for the vote. So any all in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay, very good. Motion passes 5-0. Please vote electronically. Thank you for keeping me on track. Public comment. This is an opportunity to speak to the board. Would anyone like to address us? If so, I have a few rules to read. Okay, move on to the next item. Reports. District communication from Ron Wilson.
Okay, I got several things I'd like to share with the board tonight, so if you bear with me, quite a hodgepodge of things. And I just give you an update on our enrollment. Right now, we have enrolled a little over 2,800 students so far. We probably have more out there, so if anyone is listening or here's about enrollment, please get enrolled. Just it's helpful for us to know exactly what we're looking at upcoming. I'm not a person that gets too nervous about enrollment prior to enrollment. So many things change between now and September 20th. I also am understanding that this year is going to be unique as far as enrollment. Everyone is doing some different things, and we understand that. When it comes to funding issues, we get the higher of the last 2 years, so we're just hoping if our enrollment is down a little bit this year, that the following year it'll be up, and so we should be good. So don't want to sound any alarms, but still pretty good numbers. We do have, and I think this is important information to share, we have offering the Parent Choice Remote, where students may be attending our school, but we'll be doing it online. Right now we have 216 total students who have enrolled as Parent Choice Remotes. That is 112 at the elementary. That is 62 at the middle school and 42 at the high school who are choosing to do the Parent Choice Remote. Just a reminder on our reopening plan, if we are allowing those people, if they choose to come on site, we'll allow that at any time. We'll let them, if maybe they try it and it's not for them, we'll definitely take them on site. So right now, that's where the numbers are.
Ron, how many extra do we have? 216 on that. Is that taken into the account of anybody that did not go through the Parents' Choice or the district stuff?
Well,
did we have a bunch more above and beyond?
We do have some that have chosen to go to different online, places.
I just didn't know percentage-wise from a district.
But I'm not sure exactly what that would be.
No problem.
Yeah. I also thought this was an interesting number. Right now, we have 71 students who have identified to us that they do not have Wi-Fi access. And so last spring, we were very fortunate, and Next Tech and Eagle offered Wi-Fi access to those families. I think they're still planning, and I don't want to say something that I don't really know. I think they have said they would be offering, based on some free and reduced status, a tiered plan, but I do believe that there will be a cost to families. We'll work with those families to get every resource we can to help them get Wi-Fi if they're choosing that option. A little bit more about I know our last meeting was all about the reopening plan, but I just would want to, still our number one priority right now is still keeping students and staff safe. When we're talking staff, I still, that is a concern, is that we really are limited on, staffing in terms of if people are getting sick for any reason and have to be quarantined. So one of the things that we have talked about, and we will be looking at increasing subpay. I did want to share with you this evening that we are looking at going, right now our subpay is we pay $90. After 15 days, we pay $150. And then after 45 days, we pay $202. We have been looking around the area. We are by far the lowest in the area. We feel like we'll need to up that to be competitive and not lose out on subs, because they're going to be at a premium this year. On the next meeting, I'll be bringing a recommendation that we move our subpay up to 110. From 90, going from 150 after 15 days to 170, and then the 202, which is 45 days, up to 220. This is just to try and stay competitive in our area, and knowing that subs and staffing are going to be our number one issue as we try to keep our schools operational. And if we do have some staff who can't come for various reasons, it's going to be very, very important that we are competitive. So.
Okay, well,
Ron?
glad you're looking into those
I
issues.
know we've got some maternity leaves already set up, so if those people have already committed, they would get the higher pay?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. I did want to talk a little bit about face mask. Again, just a reminder to all our parents that face masks will be required. In our schools, we will be providing breaks for face masks within the school day. Talked to administration about that, and speaking with teachers. There will be exemptions for students that if they have a certain disability that prevents them from being able to wear a mask, they will have to get it signed by a doctor, and they will list that reason on the form, and that will hopefully help everyone to kind of work with the mask. There will be exceptions made for certain activities that happen during a school day that it's just impossible to wear a mask and still do those activities. But our goal will be, if you don't have the mask on, we're really going to stress social distance, and that if the mask's not on, you are more than 6 feet away. So just wanted to make sure we talked about that. We've kind of refined our health screenings for staff. We're going to be doing some screening for staff every day in terms of kind of a checklist of symptoms and temperatures taken. Students, once again, temperatures will be taken every day once they come into the buildings.
Okay.
So, also, one of the things that we've been working on this week was our parent choice remote option. We talked a little bit about the numbers. We have about 216. We have been kind of scrambling as the state kind of refined some of the processes that we are kind of having to do to make sure that we get our funding. We are moving to, for the elementary, the platform Edgenuity. And we've kind of been back and forth, and we've made the decision on Friday that Edgenuity is where we need to land with our elementary. This is a very comprehensive online curriculum. It will give some stability, and it's very research-based, standards-based. really will, I think, keep kids engaged and has the ability to personalize if needed. And there's also offline activities and materials. So the reason I also bring this to you is that we don't actually have the quote yet. We should be getting it tomorrow. There's a little bit of sticker shock with this, folks. But it's the only way that we feel that we can probably proceed with this. The price will be between $90,000 and $100,000 to offer. Now, we will pay for this out of our COVID CARES money. Chris and I have talked, and we have not spent any of our money that we received from the federal government for CARES. Approximately $300,000, and we will be using about between $90,000 and $100,000 for our Edgenuity.
Okay.
And so I just wanted you to know that we're kind of on a timeline to get this all in place. I'll need to process that. You will be seeing a bill for that, but there's just, if we don't get it in, what we're hearing from our Edgenuity rep is every school in America is asking for this right now, and she is telling us, get it in, or it's just going to, every day that you don't get it in, we're going to be really delayed. And so,
Are we using this already with?
we are doing this already with our high school.
Yes. Yeah.
We've been using Edgenuity for many years.
So the cost
district.
increase is because we have many more students involved and probably support.
Well, yeah.
Support from the Edgenuity?
It's become pretty pricey. We did see a little bit of a price jump. But this is probably just a one-year deal, and it will be paid out of our CARES money.
And it's
going
K-12 now?
What's that?
It'll be K-12?
Well, it will be K-12, yes. Our Edgenuity we already paid for the Edgenuity. I think for the middle school, high school, it was like $25,000 a year. So I think we approved a $75,000 for Edgenuity for.
Was that just at the Learning Center or the high school too?
Well, they use it at both places.
Both places.
Yeah, both places.
District-wide license, so we actually,
Yeah.
KBC, do it as part of the curriculum.
Yeah.
there.
Is that something that an instructor from our school?
Okay, and just, yeah, that's a good question, Lori. How this is going to work is it's our online platform. We will be at the elementary level. We've identified, we'll have a K2, a K1 teacher, and probably could be might be a shared position where two teachers will be sharing that one position, and there'll be a 2-3 and a 4-5 teacher who will oversee the Edgenuity with those students in the elementary, which is 112. So you break that up into about 30 some. It's really pretty even in each section, 30 some per section. So that's that. The thing is, we could hire teachers, but if you look at it, our teachers are probably 3 teachers. If we've not hired 3 teachers, if we could find 3 more teachers to hire, it's probably going to run us in 120,000, 130,000 total cost. Yeah. So it doesn't. I know it's sticker shock. I know it's a large amount, but we have to. And this is part of maybe a little bit of going back into our goal section. Is really our goal is to provide a valuable learning experience for these kids, and we want it to be good. And I feel like this is we've got to really honor that.
Well, I do appreciate all the work you've done to make things as flexible as possible for parents and kids, and so this is just part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, you talked about the teacher support, but how about the tech support for these 216 kids? I don't know how much tech support there is needed for Edgenuity.
Well, last spring we offered tech support for 1,500 students approximately. We seem to be able to pull that off. This will be quite a few less than that 1,500. So it'll be, the tech support. I think we had a Scott. He's not here. But we offered a number so people could call in or send in requests through tickets. I can't remember the exact system that we use, but
I
it's.
just didn't know if Scott would need additional person or.
Well, I'm thinking not, just because we managed 1,500 and seemed to do fairly well. Now, we weren't utilizing Edgenuity, and so, but the thing is, Edgenuity is an online curriculum platform. It's pretty easy once you get in to understand and run. So I don't anticipate a huge amount of issues there. At the middle school, high school, they'll be doing some teachers in lieu of plan. So teachers will be we'll be paying some teachers in lieu of plan for the to kind of oversee our Edgenuity students and how they're. So it's going to be a combination. There might be some actual recording of classes and students, checking in at certain times to view the class. You can get away with that a little more at the high school and some at the middle school.
Right.
So we did talk a little bit last week. I met with the building administrators. We talked a lot about the hybrid model. That is where you are bringing in half of your kids, approximately half, for a certain period of time, and the other half is working remotely. The building administrators are took it back to their building leadership teams. I've heard some feedback and had some really good feedback that the building leadership teams are coming up with some good ideas. Don't know exactly. I don't have any really details tonight to share with you, but I do feel like we're working on that, should we need to move to that hybrid model.
I actually spoke with some people, I think Bonner Springs and a few other ones are actually doing that exact model.
Okay.
Down there, so
Yeah.
might be somebody we can at least reach out to and see if there's.
Yeah, we've looked at a lot of plans. I don't know if we've looked at Bonner Springs. I know we looked at Baser Linwoods, we looked at Spring Hills, some of those schools in those areas, and so we are really working towards trying to put together a good hybrid model.
Cool.
But of course, devices are very important as we look at, especially coming back to school on the 26th, but also just those students who are going to be online. Just so you know, our Apple iPads that were approved several months ago, they are due to be shipped. I think between the 13th and the 19th. We don't know if we'll have the iPads first day of school. We do still have the old iPads that we'll be trying to utilize in the short term. We have a lot of battery issues, and we'll have to get chargers out. The big issue is the cases. Surprisingly, the cases are where we're really struggling. It's going to be October before they're saying we can have cases. So we're going to have a bunch of new iPads that are ready to go, but they won't have cases, and there's not a good idea to send iPads out without cases. So we're trying to be creative. Once again, we'll be trying to utilize all our old stuff as much as possible until everything gets brought in. So just I wanted you to know that in case you remembered that you approved some new iPads and they won't be having them at the start of school.
Remembered, but that's okay.
I think Power School, I think this is good information. We're moving our Power School to the cloud. We won't actually be having a server here that hosts all our Power School information. I think this is a good thing. That move is going to happen on Thursday and Friday, and this is really going to help with some of those, reducing that risk of things going down and not working. If you remember a year ago during our enrollment, our Power School went down, and we had some real issues trying to get it back up. So we have begun the process to move Power School to the cloud. It'll also increase our security. We had a good meeting with the Teachers Association last week and covered the memorandum of agreements, went through a lot of topics. I don't really have anything specific that I feel like I need to share with you. It was just a good meeting. I think we were able to work through lots of the questions they had and give them some support in what we're wanting to do. It's just going to take everyone working together, and I really felt like the meeting overall was really well received by both sides. So
I did too. It was a positive meeting.
I guess the last thing is budget hearing will be held August 24th. That'll be our next regularly scheduled board meeting. Mill levy is reduced slightly, which is always a good thing and makes everyone happy. Chris did a great job in getting it prepared, and it will be published sometime this week in the Hayes Daily News. And then once that gets published, we will have a hearing on the 24th and get it certified to the county clerk. So overall, those are some of the things that are going on. Any questions of anything?
Yes, do you, when the ingenuity bill comes in, do you need to pay it right away? When do you think that?
Well, with this, I'll need board approval. It's
Right.
not necessarily, what I'm asking permission or the authority is to send a PO tomorrow, which is promising that we'll pay this.
Okay.
I don't actually, if I had the quote tonight, I would
Well,
have thrown it
one way
on,
to go is we
but I
can-
don't even have the quote to give you the exact number.
Okay.
But I can tell you it will be somewhere between 90 and 100,000.
Okay.
Just based upon what they have kind of, Chet was supposed to get me a quote before today, and I haven't seen it yet, so.
Will you have to buffer it a little bit if there's still kids out there to enroll? A certain percentage of those may,
You know, Craig, that's a good question. I don't really know.
Come online.
That's what I'm gonna have to find out tomorrow. It was happening pretty fast today. We were scrambling, trying to have a lot of emails back and forth, and they are swamped. And just very fortunate, Shanna is actually the person who is in charge of Edgenuity for Kansas. Happened to do her student teaching with Shanna, so Shanna has a relationship with her. So we feel like we got at least her ear, and she has
Did we get a
been
friend
very,
discount?
she's been very honest with us and is working with us, but she also has been letting us know that, guys, we are swamped, and every school in America seems to be wanting it right now, and you're one of many. So
Okay.
Shanna Dinkle shared that the price is for 100 kids or more. So if we do have more kids, it won't
Oh.
increase the cost.
okay, great.
okay, there you go.
So, we agree that we should pursue this and we'll vote later on it. Is that-
Yeah, guys, I wish it were cleaner than this. If you remember, I've been asking for patience, flexibility, and grace. This is grace. This is not how we like to do it, but it's just, things are changing. I mean, we didn't even know how many kids we were looking at until about Friday, maybe Thursday, when we kind of had that number. And then that's when we had to decide, okay, what do we need to do? And through a lot of conversation, I decided that our elementary, because I think originally our teachers were thinking they could provide that education to the students and would feel better about that, but it's just, I don't think from a standpoint of being able to keep everyone engaged and keeping all, the scope and the sequence of curriculum, because what we have to remember is these kids, and it could be a bouncing situation where they might be leaving it and coming in. We got to make sure that the scope and sequence of what they're learning is going to be consistent with what we're doing on site. So we felt like that was the best way to go.
When you first think about it, a teacher might think, oh, they can do the on-site and handle the off-site, but I think most folks would realize after thinking about it for a minute, you have then 2 classes you're teaching. So,
Yeah, and that's the other thing. We originally
work.
thought
It's
maybe
really-
we could, but in hindsight, we realized that was not going to work, and so we had to honor that differently.
With the way they're doing that, Ron, and is that going to be enough time by the time we have our next board meeting, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably ask you to approve it on the 24th, because I'm sure I'll have a quote by then. But that's why they're saying that Carrie Ridenour, who is runs Edgenuity, and talked to Shannon, she says, guys, you got to get it in, because they will not. They're so swamped, they won't even put us on the list to set us up for the account until they have the PO.
Well, I guess my question being is, you said that we're using the COVID funds to pay for this.
Yeah.
I would be willing to make a motion that says if it's under $100,000, just to move forward with it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know where everybody
Yeah,
else is thinking,
same.
but I mean, it's being paid for by those funds, so.
Only one.
What's that?
It's the only one we have.
Yeah, so, I mean,
I agree. I think that's good. So
but
there is
with
a
that being the
motion on
case, I'd make a motion to just go ahead and have Ron or Chris or whoever move forward with that with the COVID funds. If it's under $100,000, just to move forward with it and let us know.
Any chance it's going to be over $100,000?
Well, that's what did Shanna confirm that it was only going to be?
Yeah, she said that that price is for 100 students, whatever the quote.
Yeah, we're about, right now we're 112.
Right,
That's
100
where.
students or more. So
Okay.
so adding more students won't.
No, okay, so yeah, we should be good. So.
And the next level is not 113. It's
Yeah, should
200 or something? Okay.
More kids won't change.
well, I think that's a good idea, and we'll.
I figured that if we need to move on it, do it. I mean, that way he's not having to wait on us until the 24th, so.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any more discussion on that? I think we're good. Okay, I'm going to call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anybody abstaining? Okay, very good. Motion passes 5-0.
I have another question for Ron.
Yeah.
Sure.
Can you just kind of go over the budget process from July on? Because I know Chris went to the State Department and just kind of, and then what's going to happen here in August? Just kind of go over that with us.
Yeah, I mean, the budget will be published here this week in the Hayes Daily News.
You know what date?
No, I don't.
Should be, we asked for the 10th, between the 10th and the 12th. So if it wasn't in favor today, it would be tomorrow or Wednesday at the latest.
And that has to be 15 days before?
10.
hearing?
10 days.
10 days.
Okay.
So we're well within our 10 days. And then on the 24th, we'll have a budget hearing. And that you just approve the budget. So.
And then you prepared the budget, and then Chris went to Topeka. How'd that go? And can you kind of explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so.
That was in the middle of July?
Say again.
You went in the middle of July? Like the 15th?
What about a week ago?
Week ago, 2 weeks,
It was the day we had
Wednesday,
a.
I think. A week ago, last Wednesday. The work at that point, sitting down with the KSD Finance Department and just verifying all the mill levies and all the tax stuff, make sure everything, getting another set of eyes on it, for folks that do it all day, every day.
Okay.
So, yeah,
And that came back,
came back all good to go, so we should be in good shape.
and then our hearing is the 25th?
24th, so it has to be certified to the county on the 25th, and so it worked out, so we have a board meeting on the 24th, budget hearing on the 24th, and then be able to certify with the county on the 25th.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that.
Jess, you got the votes down. I guess I got booted out by accident, so I'm back in now, so we're good. Okay. All right, let's move on to the action/discussion items. We have 3 items tonight. One is the 2020-2021 calendar. Second is the board member vacancy. The third is our board goal setting. Setting our board goals. We need to approve the new calendar tonight. The other 2 items are for discussion. Calendars on board docs. This comes out of the meeting we had with the memorandum of understanding.
Well, it was actually the reopening plan meeting where you guys approved the calendar.
Yes.
Yeah. To start the 26th from that day, we adjusted the calendar, and basically the only thing that you're going to see is all the vacations, really the breaks were kept the same. We just shifted everything to the end, and so the end date is now May 26th, I believe. But as far as any breaks or vacations, really were not affected in anything. So
Okay.
we sent out the calendar committee, really didn't hear anything. So I
I
think
noticed on this
good to go.
calendar that we received, it doesn't have the 9 weeks. They're not calculated yet, or?
Oh, I thought we had that. Did you?
End of 9 weeks.
It's the same.
The same dates, you just moved it a week, and that works with the high school?
Yeah,
and everything?
everything's, yeah.
What about graduation? Graduation's
Graduation has not been set. It was May 9th. That will be moved back. But last week, Mr. Straub still did not quite have that set. So I think it'll be set here fairly soon. He just probably needs to communicate with lots of different people to try and figure out what'll work. But May 9th, they were concerned about, I mean, the seniors, they have to go to so many hours as well. And so we have to calculate, based on the calendar, where our seniors would land and how many days they would need to go. So I think he was still working on that.
Is there anything on snow days? I noticed it's usually on the calendar, but anything different, or where are we with snow days?
Well, your snow days would, usually we'll identify, they identify usually the first 2 days.
Right. So we still have the same as usual?
Yes.
Yeah, since everything.
Yeah.
Good, good.
Well, that's good.
We'll identify those first 2 days as our snow days.
Okay, so we need to approve the new calendar. I move to approve the new calendar. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Okay, I'm going to call for a vote. All in favor of the new calendar, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Okay, none. Motion passes 5-0. And I need to vote electronically. Let me get back on there. Very good. Okay, the next item is our board vacancy. Tonight we need to discuss the procedures that we will use to fill the open position. As a board, we have some discretion in the process that we put together, but there are some requirements, of course. As a reminder, the term for this position ends in January 2022. If we are able to fill the position soon, the appointee will serve for approximately 15 or 16 months. The election to fill this position, fill the position takes place in November 2021. So basically, as per usual, if the person that's appointed runs and wins, then they continue on. If they appointed and lose the election, then they have 2 months to suffer through. Okay. Anyway, okay, the process is we will post an announcement in the Hayes Daily News. We can appoint a new board member 15 days after it's posted. And of course, any discussion about the position will take place in public like it is now. Lance, do you recall the process you guys used last time we did this?
Yeah, we had gone through the previous time. They kind of did interviews, had questions, and did the other ones, but there was also discussion after that if we would have been better off basically taking like applications and having us review them and go that route as well. So I don't know that there's a right or wrong way, and I know in talking with Bill, I think he had stated that I think we can do it either way, correct?
Discretionary with the board how you want to do it.
Okay.
It just has to be done at an open session.
Right. Have you had a chance to fill open board seats in the past?
Yes.
What was the process you used?
The process we used was the interviewing process. Brought potential board members in. Board had a list of questions that they interviewed in open session. It's sometimes difficult because everything is right there in the open and there's not a lot of privacy. But sometimes it's a great opportunity to be in front of the public and express what your desires are.
Did you have folks send the board clerk their name and a statement or something, or?
Yeah, I mean, if that's the avenue you choose, what we would do is we'd advertise that, and then I think you have to wait 15 days before the process. Right. Is that correct, Bill? 15 days? Yeah, 15 days. So as long as if you want us to run an ad, we can run an ad, and then whether it's and whatever process selection you choose, if you want it to be just send in your resume, your references, and you guys can look at those. I assume, do you have to do that in open session? Yeah, when you look at them.
Bill, is there any other requirements for somebody that might want to be on board other than living in the district?
Well, they need to be 18, live in the district, and not have a felony conviction.
Right.
Same as you all when you're in for the board.
Okay. But if we do have documents, let's say a resume or a letter sent to Jess, individually, we can go review those, I suppose, but we can't, as a board, go review them behind closed doors. We need to review them.
Any discussion has to be in
Yeah.
an open session.
Which is, of course, our plan anyway, I'm just making sure we're
Yeah.
clear. Yeah.
And I think maybe that's sometimes why the interview process makes it a little easier.
Yeah, one meeting, have people come in. What if we just said, hey, this is the date we're interviewing people, whoever shows up, shows up?
Well, you could do that, but
I'm smiling under my mask, because that would be a bit,
Oh, okay, that was sarcasm. Okay, I'm sorry. It's hard to read sarcasm under a mask.
theoretically, it might work, but I am concerned that one good thing about having people provide something to the board clerk is that they can put their address on there. We can make sure they actually live in Hayes.
Sure.
So we don't have
Gives
people
you a little
that aren't qualified showing
vetting
up.
process to
Yeah.
make sure everyone's.
Yeah. But Lance, you were saying that it sounds like you've done it both ways. So
No, there was the only question that was last time is because as they came in, there was question because could the people sit out in the hallway and basically hear the questions that were being asked? Did they have an unfair advantage? You know,
Well, they were asked to sit out in the hallway, but they wouldn't have to leave if they didn't want to.
yeah,
Because
that's true because
it's an
you
open
can't make
meeting.
them leave. They could have
Because
stayed.
the-
I think all of
No,
them
that's
did
right.
go
Because the
out.
board at that time had a list of like 7 or 8 questions that they asked every one of the
Right.
applicants.
So if we didn't, like you had mentioned, whether we did a public interview or whether we just had them do an application and they had to answer those 7 questions, and then the board discussed.
And I'm not saying one way or the
No,
other.
I'm
That
just
was
saying,
just kind of the.
those would be the two. You could ask the same 7 questions on the application that we would be asking that night.
I would assume so.
I would assume that the questions that you would be asking on the application would be different, and that you would just be asking questions such as address and, that type of information, not questions such as what is your viewpoint on,
So you're saying maybe ask people to provide information like their address on a letter and a statement of interest, why they want to serve on the board,
Yeah,
maybe qualifications,
right.
and then when they come in, we can ask them questions about.
I think it comes down to whether or not you're going to do the interview in person or whether you're going to do it on a piece of paper. So.
Right. Yeah, I see your point. Well, I don't want to make it overly complex, but on the other hand, we don't want to make it overly complex, but it's very important that we consider seriously what we're doing because we are appointing a public official, right?
Right,
We're not electing them, so
that is right.
yeah.
They do any of that with the county or the other stuff, Bill, at all? As far as, or is it all, no matter what, that's always election?
Well, with county positions, it's different.
That's why I just didn't know if they did anything similar.
No.
Okay.
No, because it goes back to the precinct committeeman vote and make a
Okay.
recommendation to the governor, then the governor makes the appointment.
Gotcha.
So the school board's a different animal there.
Gotcha.
I think it is important that they do interview in front of the public. That's my opinion.
Okay.
They do interview in front of the public.
Well, I think here's an idea. Maybe we ask folks, we advertise, they need to send Jess, the board clerk, a
If they're
letter,
interested.
1 or 2 pages. The letter should include a statement of interest, why they want to serve on the board, qualifications for the position, their address, of course, and maybe a statement of how they can contribute to the board and benefit the district.
Good.
And then when they come, and then I think, see how that turns out, and then we invite them to come to the next possible board meeting, whatever, 15 days, whatever,
Yeah,
next
you're
possible
probably
board meeting,
looking
and
at,
bring those folks in.
either September 10th or
Okay.
that first meeting or that work study session. I don't know if you want to do it during a work study session or if you want to move it to the regular board meeting.
Probably do it regular board meeting.
Okay.
But that's my opinion.
So that'd be the second meeting in September would probably be the date you would be.
Because the idea was bring them in, interview them, see how they are face to face, and then can we go with you in executive session, Bill, and discuss our choice? Do we have to public? Okay.
No.
So we have to decide.
Everything's out of
Right here in
line.
public, and we let them know who we. Okay.
Yeah.
There isn't any way to get around it. It's very awkward.
Well,
Yes.
no, I think I was sitting watching the last time, so yeah.
Mike, what did you say again the term goes till?
The term goes to January of 2022.
Isn't it December?
Well, they actually carry over to the first meeting in January, I believe.
It's a full year, isn't it?
It'll be well, it's the second Monday in January, but I think what you're thinking of is we had a meeting before the second Monday in January last year on
It's the-
negotiations.
It's the
So,
second Monday in January.
Yeah.
When the new
so if you don't have
Well, okay.
a meeting, then
That's true.
Yeah.
It could end in December, but the new board doesn't take over until the second Monday in
Yeah.
January, so therefore the old board is still,
Yeah.
Right.
So it'll be 2023.
Well,
No, 2022.
2022.
Next year, 22 is January. Isn't it 12, then you have 17 months or 16 months?
well, this is
School
2020
board
now.
elections
So we
are
gotta go
always
all the way
odd
through.
numbers. So you've got an election a year from now,
Yeah.
in November for school board,
Yeah, okay, so
which
there's
then
an
takes
election,
in
and that
January.
seat will be open on that January.
Right.
yes.
Right.
Yes, this seat will be open again in November of 2021
For election.
for election.
So
Right.
that's this year?
No, this is
Next year.
2020.
2020,
If,
gotcha.
and the agenda is wrong, if she would have resigned before May 1st, it would be on the ballot this year
This year.
Correct.
to run the same period, to run until the second Monday in January 2022.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So essentially, yeah, we'd have to hold an election just.
Because it
for
was
the-
after May
It would
1st,
be on the November ballot.
it's difficult
with
to
the
get
other
any names on the ballot at that time.
And
Right.
make sure, when you send that paper to them or whatever, have those lined out, the requirements or their obligation.
Yeah, I don't know how we want to, yes, the advertisement, do we include those three items, I guess, or do we ask them to contact the superintendent or clerk and
Sure.
we can say, here's what we do? Okay.
We can definitely put that together.
Whatever works best for the ad.
And if we do it, like you said, last time you had 6 or 7 questions, or 7 or 8 that you ask everyone. Maybe I'm naive, but I hope we have 20 people that say, I want to be on the school board. Are you going to monitor and say 10 minutes per person, 15 minutes per person, or when it take 3 hours and do it?
I think that we can modify the interview portion since we're advertising and we're letting people know what they need to write down and give it to us.
You also might be able to go through and look through those and base
Right.
it. How many of you want to interview?
That's true.
You don't have to
Yeah, we
interview
have
all
to
of
interview
them.
everybody.
You don't have to interview everyone?
You don't have to interview anyone.
Nobody, if you don't
Anybody.
want.
Actually, we don't, that's right, we don't have to interview them. Yeah. Okay. But I guess your question is, I think
If you
we can.
wanted, you could advertise a position and tell Michael as the president to go find somebody. I mean, it's purely discretionary with the board, how you fill that vacancy.
Right.
Or not fill it. I think we could leave it open.
And the option would be to not fill it.
Well, I do want to fill it because we have some tough issues coming up and I don't want to split the board. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I think we want to fill
I
it.
think we're okay. All right, I think we have a general idea
Okay, so you want us to
Advertise.
advertise? Okay.
that, in fact, I'll get with, if this is okay with the board, include a statement of interest, qualifications for the position, including their address, and how their appointment can add to the board and benefit the district.
Okay.
Just a statement.
I like it.
And then we'll get together, well,
Well, yeah, you gotta
can't.
wait
Gotta be a bit.
15 days at least. And
Yeah, we gotta
you're
wait.
not
Okay.
doing anything until the second meeting in September.
Right,
So
right.
we'll get,
we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Now, I have a question. If those members should contact the individual board members, do we respond to those members, or do we?
You know what, I think a response could be that the district has
Reach out to
advertised the position,
Okay,
and
Board clerk.
you need to contact the board clerk.
okay,
For
okay, that's a
information.
good
Yep.
response. Okay, thank you.
I mean, I have responded to a couple just saying that we're working on the process,
Okay, okay.
and we'll let you know, but hopefully they're watching tonight and they know that they'll be looking for an advertisement in the paper.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, that's a good question. Okay, we all right to move on, guys? Okay, next item is the board goal setting and planning. The board adopts goals for the district each year. We usually hold a 3 to 4 hour retreat on a Saturday or an evening in August. Sometimes we ask KASB to guide the process. I did not push for a retreat this year because of the COVID situation. I believe we can make some good headway tonight, but we don't have to finish tonight. We can continue discussing goals in our next meeting, or if we really decide we need to hold a retreat, we can do that. Of course, we're still in the COVID situation, so I don't know how closely we want to work together for 4 hours, but, so there was no reason to not have a retreat except for the COVID situation. As a reminder, a goal is a desired outcome that will help an organization meet its mission. We set goals for the district, and the board, set goals for the district, and the administration develop strategies and action steps to meet those goals. We adopted 3 goals last year. Goal A, design a stable financial structure that allows the district to accomplish its educational mission. Goal B, create an educational improvement guide utilizing the Kansas Education Systems accreditation process. Goal 3, develop a plan to prepare our district for the future. The idea was that all 3 of these goals, as you strive to meet these goals, it will help us meet our mission, which is to provide a quality learning experience for every child in every classroom every day. So that's our current goals. The year before last, we had 5 of those goals. I think we combined a few, got down to 3. Superintendent Wilson provided us with a list of issue items, core values, and suggested initiatives for 2020-2021. Ron, were you thinking that we would replace our current goals with those items?
yeah, I would like to talk a little bit
Yeah.
when you're ready, but go ahead.
Actually, I'm almost ready. I think, unless anybody wants to bring up, any board members want to discuss our current goals. I mean, they're not too,
I think the goals were good that the previous board had. They were very general with the financial, the improvement of students through the accreditation program, and preparing our community for bond issue or wherever we needed to go with those. And it would be is that we need to keep those numbers down to 3 or 4. You know, you can have a lot of goals, but unless you focus in on them and have a small number, it's hard to meet them. But
And I
that's
think
just my
that
thought.
was part of the reason that we tried to get down to 3 as well. And the other thing too is a lot of those goals, I mean, you can go through and discuss a lot of those, but a lot of these goals you have every year, you're trying to continue to do those type of things every year. So it's,
yeah. And there were some reasons. I mean, we wanted to design a stable financial structure as a goal because before now, we were dealing with some issues and we had to, so.
Could you have action steps to achieve those goals?
Well, one advantage of what Ron worked up is that they are issue items or I'd say they could be turned into goals by saying, find a way to do this. I mean, if you get the difference, okay. I'm not criticizing, I'm just saying. slightly different twist on some of these things. But he has, for example, issue items: high student achievement, highly effective staff, effective and positive communications, effective management of resources. No, that's it. And then we have core values on there. And then underneath each of those goal issue items, the number of bullet points providing more detail on what the district will try to achieve to then meet that goal.
Yeah.
And then those goals all feed into our mission. And I see that effective management of resources does address finances, I would think, by definition there. These also line up with, I've seen these before.
Yeah.
You came on board, I think
these
you
are what
had.
I brought to the board last
Right.
year.
Right.
If I could just take a few
Sure,
minutes
please.
just to talk a little bit. Guys, the thing is, and if I'm going to go back a year ago, when I came to the district, one of the things that I'm really, this is important, and I've become a little bit of a broken record, is that, what is our mission, what is our vision, and what are our core values, and that's truly how we really have to focus. Before we even start planning goals, we have to figure out, okay, what is the mission of USD 489? The good thing is the mission statement was written several years ago, and I think it's one of the all-time best mission statements that I've seen for a school district, and I love it. It says the mission of USD 489 is to provide a valuable learning opportunity experience for every student in every classroom every day.
Yeah.
And so I love that, because that is a mission statement that when I get out of my car every day and I come into this building, I know what my mission is. It's to figure out, when we're talking parent choice remote, we could do it cheaper than Edgenuity, but my goal is to provide a valuable learning experience for those kids who are choosing to go on site. I mean, that's what I stick to in everything that we talk about. So it's a great mission statement, because it's a lot of times you have mission statements that people can't. If you quizzed your staff, 80% wouldn't be able to tell you. We've actually made the tagline, every student, every day. You've seen it around. It's on a lot of our social media. It's printed. What that tagline does, it tells people what our mission is. Every student, every day, every classroom. That's a valuable learning opportunity. And that's, before we start any planning, we have to know that's what we're aiming for. I always say, when you get to this point of the year, your goal is, you're almost like taking a vacation. And you are going to look at, okay, this is where we want to go. This is our destination.
Yep.
So, to maybe paraphrase one of my favorite movies, Vacation, you're trying to get to Wally World, right? Okay? And you're going to get in the family truckster, and you're going to get, that's what your mission is. So, what the vision statements, okay? So your mission is, that's there. The vision statements are really kind of your goals. And I think, just like Lance was saying, your goals really won't change very much from year to year. You might want to expand them. You might want to maneuver a little bit more to see some different things to reach those goals, but it comes down to very simple. If we want a valuable learning experience for every kid, every student, in every classroom, every day, okay, we got to have high student achievement, right? Okay, that's just got to be a goal every year. How are we going to get high student achievement? And you have some indicators listed below there. How are you going to get high student achievement? You're going to get it with highly effective staff. That's another goal. We've got to do things as a board level to make sure that we have highly effective staff. One of the things that I brought, or I really wanted to bring last year, was effective and positive communications in the district. I think we've accomplished a lot. I think we've had some things that have been good indicators of through some negotiations. We were able to positively get some things accomplished. We have our culture right now is I would say very good. We've just gone through one of the worst crises ever in school history, and man, staff are all in. They're committed and really are willing to do things. And then the last one, and this falls a lot on your shoulder, how do we maximize and allocate resources? And that's to provide goes back to that mission statement. How are you going to do that? What are you going to do to make sure that every kid has a valuable learning experience in every classroom every day? So last year I brought this bus theme in, okay, Ron Wilson bus driver, and I showed the little clip and there's actually a movie clip that says Ron Wilson bus driver, and I'm the only person that's authorized to, and it's a little fun thing, but the core values were the bus rules, okay? The bus rules, and if you think of this, the mission statement is the bus, okay? That's what's going to get us there. We all get on that bus. The vision statements, those 4 that I've listed, are the people that's what get on the bus. That's who gets on the bus and is going to go. But the core values, that's our engine. That's what drives us, And I've been pushing those all year, and I will push them again this year. I plan to meet with all staff at the beginning of the year, and it's all about we're going to be a champion for all kids. We're going to bring our best every day. We're going to carry the banner for our school or district, and we're going to sell possibilities and future opportunities for kids. And even as board members, that's your core values. That you're the engine. You're going to be a champion for kids. You're going to bring your best. As a superintendent, I have those same core values. Everyone in this district, and I tell you folks, it's really easy. And times when we are having maybe some crisis, even at the board, where maybe there's some decisions, you go back to those core values and you just say, oh, okay, I got to carry the banner for my school or district, and these are the things that I need to do. Or I want to be a champion for all kids, and this is what we have to do and that's what drives this bus. And that's what we're really trying to build here. And that's what I want you guys to think of yourself as builders. We are building something great here. Really great. And I'm telling you, we are building it. It is happening. But it takes everyone pulling together and building this everyone's on the bus and we're moving in the right direction. And I really like what we're doing. So that's a little on, and the only thing I would follow up with this is we have to anchor. We have to anchor to that mission statement, we have to anchor to those vision statements, and we have to anchor to those core values. And there's times I've seen districts when things are kind of in strife, that when people are not anchoring to mission statements or vision statements or core values, it gets all wonky. It gets kind of crazy. And that's why I'm really trying to keep this in front of everybody. That this is who we are, and this is what we're doing, and this is why we're doing it.
You're a good salesman. I like what you came up with.
I'm pretty passionate about this. I'm pretty passionate about mission, vision, core values.
No, I like a lot of what you have said.
So I've given you some considerations.
Okay.
On things that maybe, here's what you got to answer 3 questions tonight. Okay, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to accomplish this year? Where do you want your bus to go?
Right.
Okay, why do you want to accomplish that? And how are you going to do that? Those are the 3 questions on every one of your considerations that you need to think about for your goal planning. I threw on some things that I thought would be good for the board to think about, that I think are going to be very important. First one is, how are we going to maintain and provide a safe and healthy school environment with all the COVID going on this year? Well, what are we going to do to accomplish that? Why are we going to do that? And how are we going to do that? We kind of already, in a sense, have already done that through approving the reopening plan. Right. but it'll be continued support and dealing with those issues as they get presented to you as the board. I think, we've talked a little bit about mental health and that being, and I've picked up on that, the board, there's a lot of support, to continue to support our mental health. We started the program last year at the middle school with our mental health liaison. We're looking to expand that to the high school this year. We're hoping to get it to the elementary, and possibly, and right now we're receiving money from the state, grants, but that is something that maybe you would find important. Supporting MTSS, our structuring initiatives. This year, one of the things that we're bringing in this year is MTSS. Our district has been utilizing MTSS for a number of years, but what the district has not had before was the actual TASN support, so we're bringing in the TASN group to provide us on-site, or it's probably through Zoom, I shouldn't say on-site, through virtual, some helping the experts help us lead through this. And I think it's the next stage that we need to get to. I think some of our buildings have done a really great job with just kind of figuring this out on their own, but now we're going to bring in experts from the outside, and they're going to help us push to this next level. And I think that's something that the board can help with planning. Some of the things is we got to figure out where we're going to relocate the learning center. The cell of Washington School will be at the end of December. We have to figure out a spot for where we're going to go, and that might be something that I think the board, I know it's definitely going to we're going to have to figure something out, but there might be some planning that needs to be included there. We got to look at our future district technology. Our district has a network that is, the infrastructure has aged out. We need to look at a refresh. It's a pretty big ticket item. Will probably be, I think Scott is working on putting something together that will be brought to the board to get our infrastructure network refresh put together. I think we always have to look at our staffing needs. We did a great job last year. The board did a great job of supporting some staffing needs and adding kindergarten staff. But might be some additional needs that we might need to consider in the future. I think we need to look at continue with completing our secured entrances at the remaining 2 school buildings that are not completed. That would be O'Laughlin and Wilson. We still have to look at, I know we're in the middle of doing some work at Roosevelt, but I think we'll need to look at other buildings, HVAC needs. And then, and I think this is the big, and sometimes this might be the elephant in the room, but are we going to consider looking at a bond election? Is there community interest in that? And that's where the board has to, do some planning. Is that something that is out there? So, but all of those things, it all goes back to what's our mission? And then what's our vision? High student achievement, highly effective staff. And what was it? I'm drawing a blank now. I'm talking too much. But effective positive communications and maximizing and allocating our resources. So that's how you figure it out. Yeah. So yes, this is not the ideal situation. I would have loved to have, I don't know if I was kind of working for 3 or 4 hours. I don't know if we could get it all done in 3 or 4 hours, but the thing is, this is just an opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about where our district's at and where we want to be and some of the things that we need to do to get there.
And I think that was actually part of the reason when we redid the mission statement and the other stuff, to make it to the point. Yeah, and then the same thing with the goals, to where we weren't having 52 different goals every year that we were redoing. I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, I mean, we narrowed it down to 3, and pretty well everything you said can fit under one of those 3 goals.
Exactly.
So I think that was kind of the thought process as far as doing this. As you kind of said, it's the bus. I think we used the analogy at the time that we were on a ship, and the board is basically steering the ship. Yeah. So rather than getting us in deep into the weeds, at least then we had the basis basis set for those, and then those pieces fit underneath, so.
Sure. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. It's good. You've done a lot of work, and it's good work. I think we need to, and we can find ways to merge some of the ideas we have in our goals, or the previous goals, into this. And then I do think, I kind of misspoke earlier, effective management of resources, that's really outlining what the board can do and should be doing. I do think it's still important. Goal number 1 we have on our current list addresses a stable financial structure. And again, in the past, we were saying design one because that's what we needed you to do, and you've done that. So I think we need to stick something like maintain a stable financial structure. Now, it's almost one of those things that's obvious. An organization, of course, we're going to do that, but I do think it might be a good idea if we're going to use Ron's outline to maintain a stable financial structure, et cetera, under effective management of resources, because that's something the board and the district needs to work on. It's a little different than the other items under effective management of resources, which is more board-oriented. If anybody's following what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I agree that the financial stability, it looks good right now, or it looked good a year ago. Right now, the state's going to have some challenges. And we thought we were going to have a very stable financial because of the lawsuits, the different things. We're not assured of that right now. I think as a board, we're going to need to make sure and press the state that we need a stable financial. Hayes has been a leader in trying to get a stable financial for the last, we were one of the first districts to jump into fair funding for schools many, many years ago. So I think that is a key, that we are one of the bigger schools in western Kansas, that we stay as a leader, pressing the state to make sure that we have financial stability for our district. So I'm not saying it by a lawsuit or anything like that, but by going to our elected officials and saying how important this is.
Okay? Yeah. Okay, yeah, any more thoughts on?
I echo Craig's stuff with the financial stuff, because I mean, that was, to me, that was something when we looked at, it was easy. I mean, we went through and we've come a long way over the last couple of years with financial stuff, but it was something, in my opinion, that we have to keep on and continue to evaluate and do the other stuff, or we end up back in the same boat we were a number of years ago, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I'd say that really credit to the board. You had some tough decisions last year, and credit to our teachers for agreeing to the insurance benefits. It puts our district in better financial stability with that. So.
And all of these do tie into our current goal C, develop a plan to prepare for the, actually I should have probably said develop plans to prepare for our district for the future. But all of these items, if we're working to achieve high student achievement, effective staffing, positive communication, and effective management of resources, that is preparation for the future. So I think we can cover that one there. So I think my biggest suggestion is bullet point our current goal A, replacing the word design with maintain, and pop it under effective management of resources to remind us that we need to keep maintaining that. The item is high student achievement. Do we want to discuss, assuming we're all on board with the idea of using Ron's list? I mean, I think we're kind of on there, but
It's good survival.
I think it's a good list.
do we need to make this more goal-like? Like, right now we have high student achievement. We want to wordsmith that to say, pursue activities to ensure high student achievement. Or am I making things too complicated?
Well, I would say KISS,
Probably.
keep it simple and stupid so people remember.
All right, I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
it's, I know sometimes people like to get wordy on goals and can spend a lot of time, but I really would say that people probably really don't remember. That's why I'm much about keeping things simple and making it effective. And maybe it doesn't look as shiny and great, but I think what you have in front of you is something that is very comparable to something that you would see in other districts, I'd imagine. Everyone's focused on
Yeah,
student
there's all-
achievement. Yeah, it's just, and you can't get
You can't-
sometimes that's where I get a little weird, because sometimes I'll look at board goals and I don't see anything about student achievement there. And so that's why I think it's really important that be really, that's really what this is all about, is how can we help our kids achieve the best that they can in this district.
I agree with that, but I still go back and look at the 3 goals that the previous board had. We've talked about the financial a little bit, about being the stable, and then create an educational improvement guide, utilize the KISA accreditation program. That's student improvement. The KISA program that the schools have been working on and are getting to that, really the first major phase of it is student improvement. So, yeah.
What you're seeing
I do recall that discussion about that, and I think our discussion, and Lance can remind me, but I think it was basically that the district already is doing KISA, because that's what we have to do. But we wanted to keep it, we modified whatever the previous goal B was to insert KISA, because we felt it was very important for people to know that the board and the district is supporting KISA, even though we were going to do it anyway.
Yeah, one of the goals of the state is there. If maybe visuals will help you, it's kind of like you got this super highway, and you got 3 on-ramps, and one of those is going to be KISA, which is your accreditation process.
Right.
One of those is going to be MTSS, which is your multi-tiered systems of support, and then your last runway going up into that superhighway, they're all merging into one lane is your redesign. And that's kind of how the state is building this plan. All 3 of those are merging together. And what we have going on in the district, we have all 3 going on at various stages. Lincoln Elementary is our only redesigned school. But
Right.
The goal is, I think, by 2026 is to have every school district going through redesign at some stage. MTSS is a requirement at the state level, as well as your KISA, which is your accreditation.
Very good, okay. But there's no reason we can't modify the bullet points under high student achievement if that's where you're going. Greg, on that. So I envision something like the main items: high student achievement, effective staff, advertised as that's our 4 goals, and then maybe what I'm getting at is it'd be nice to see all of it with the bullet points somewhere. But I could also envision something like we had last time, where we had circles or squares where the goals are in there and how they lead to the mission.
Sure.
I'm not a marketing expert, but I can see 2 different ways of doing this. I guess my opinion is that even though I helped develop some of the goals from before, or at least trim them down to 3, I'm comfortable working with the 4 we have.
Yeah, I don't have an issue adding one. I don't want to get into adding 9 or 10 of them.
Oh, well, I know, because, I mean, theoretically, every bullet point could be a goal, and
Yeah.
we just drive ourselves crazy, so we don't want to do that. I think 3 or 4 is a good way to go.
I'm good with that.
If you get 10, then you lose track of what you're doing, so.
But a good goal is also measurable, so how are we going to measure them? And know that after a year, did we accomplish them, or how much did we accomplish?
Well, yes, it looks to me like the bullet pointed items are more
Yeah, I mean-
measurable.
Yeah, they are measurable.
Yeah.
Some are probably a little tougher to measure,
Right.
but
But, yeah. And the initiatives, it's kind of interesting when you think about yearly goals, because we have your 4 goals there with the bullet points underneath. And then we may think as a board that we would like for us to stress some of the initiatives this year, and then next year stress some other initiatives. But I think we can handle those through board meetings and agenda items and discussions, and asking you how you are providing a safe and healthy school environment, right? I guess my point is, they could be goals, but I think we don't need to get too nitpicky. They can be discussion items that you're working on for this year. And then next year, we come up with other initiatives. Yeah. Maybe I'm repeating what we already know. All right.
Well, we almost need to come up with just a broad statement that covers all of that.
The initiatives part, you mean? Or the, I'm sorry.
Well, it covers, the 4 that you were talking about.
Kind of what our mission statement does.
Well, do we want to discuss goals anymore? Should we move on to other things?
Well, one thing that I'd like to maintain and provide is safe and healthy school environment. And I don't know where it needs to be in there, but especially this year, that should be one of our #1 goals.
Oh, the initiatives down below?
Yeah, it's one that Ron had put down, the first one.
I kind of almost see like 2 levels here. One is, again, I sort of tried to stumble through it. One set of continuous goals,
Right.
and then one set of short-term.
the one way you're
Goals.
going to,
You know?
the one way you're going to maintain a safe and healthy environment is by the way, as a board, is how you allocate and maximize resources, so we have the necessary things in place to keep it safe. So it would probably be.
See the move, the new, adding a nurse, that was huge.
Yeah, you guys have done a great job.
Those things are huge.
Yeah, you guys have done a great job of maximizing and allocating resources to the necessary things to achieve what you really are wanting to accomplish.
Okay. Anything else, Greg, on that one? All right. Well, good. Thank you for your list of items. I know you've done a little work on that and continue tweaking it over the year. And why don't we go ahead and adopt those items as their goals? Yeah, and we'll move on. Okay. All right, let's move to item number 6, which is future meeting agenda requests. Anybody have any issues they want to bring out for? Yes,
I have a discussion I'd like to have.
sure.
We talk a lot about this mental health program that we're establishing and developing and everything like that. I guess I'd like to know more information about it. I'd like to have people come in here and
Sure.
talk to us about it.
Definitely do
I
that.
like to know the credentials.
Yeah.
I like to know, there's a whole lot of things I'd like to know about this program, what they do on the outside, what they do on the inside, how they help the children, how they help the families. Just want to know, this is really a time when mental health is really needed. And
bet.
so I would like to know how they're helping and
Okay.
and making a difference during this particular time.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that and especially those that are maybe choosing not to come back on site and
Right.
being remote,
Exactly.
and we're going to work pretty diligently, and we've talked about this, and making sure that we're reaching out to those kids and offering the same services.
Right.
But we definitely can. I don't know if we can do it in September or August, but we might be able to have it by September.
Okay, sounds good.
Very good. We've got a couple of things that I would like to get us on the agenda at some point, but I can't articulate them right now, so I'll shoot an email to you.
Okay. Yep.
Or help when we craft the agenda, I'll just stick them in.
Okay.
Okay, anything else for right now? All right.
I do have one thing. I just want to keep this out in front of us, and I have asked Rusty a couple times where we're at with the construction over at Roosevelt. We were hoping to get that done prior to school start this year, the first phase.
I can answer that.
Okay.
Yes, and I meant to put that in my report, and I guess
Okay.
I've a single sheet of paper. The gas line is
Oh, yeah. Good question.
Glassman Corporation will be starting the project. They're doing prep work right now, but will be starting next week. They're giving us all indications will be done. It will be approved and ready to go by the start of school. So no issues there.
And to kind of piggyback on that, could we have a update of where we're at with all the HVAC system coming up? And I've kind of lost track of with the, we hired the
Engineer.
engineer,
Yes.
but
He is
Where
putting
we're
together
at.
the plan right now. Once the plan is put together and we have it, it's still being worked on, we'll put that, bring it to the board and put it out for bid. That should be done, I would guess, by November. Meaning will have bids to approve by November and should have something, and now what that might mean on a start date, that'll be determined based upon what they can do and when they can do it. So that'll be part of the specs that will be probably put in the bid process, but we don't have that yet. That's what the engineer is working on currently.
Okay, that's good. Thanks for bringing that up.
And he's also the same one who's also doing the approval on the process of removing the gas line at Roosevelt as well. So,
Okay.
yeah, we should see something, I would guess, maybe not by September, but probably by October, possibly, you should be able to see something.
All right.
Could we also put on the agenda and we talked about the relocation of the Learning Center after the sale of Washington School. We also need to do some prep work on that resolution. Ron mentioned maybe October, but that is really late if we're supposed to sell it in December. So, I mean, we've known this for over a year and a half, so we ought to probably get on it as soon as possible. So we should at least have a discussion on it at our next meeting.
Okay. Sounds reasonable? Yeah. All righty.
Are you wanting the resolution?
No, just start the discussion so that we're prepared.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
Before we have the resolution, there's some items that we have to have completed.
Okay.
kind of to go along with that, I know we've got that date coming up in December of the sale. with that. But I can't imagine that we want to wait that long to start looking at what our possibilities are for the Learning Center.
And that's why we have some ideas that I'll bring recommendations, and
Yeah.
as a starting point, I can do that.
That's what I
That was
think we need
probably
is some
already
recommendations.
probably going to be on the August agenda, the regular
Good.
meeting so.
I mean, you've been working on these issues.
Yeah, we got
for a while.
some ideas. It'll just take board approval on what you guys would like to do. But we'll have some things for you to look at and think about.
Alan, if you have specific questions about, specific items about the Washington sale, do you want to go ahead and email Ron at some point to make sure they're addressed?
They're all on the statute. It lays it out what we have to do, so.
Okay, well,
Yeah, and that
think
Bill would probably be someone that
Bill would
need to
be
be
someone.
included on that. Bill and I have talked on what things need to be done.
Oh,
So
okay.
anything that you make sure you include him.
Okay.
Last thing I have is I just want to make sure the teachers, the staff, everybody I know has got high anxiety about the start of school, but everybody's handling it well. Just thank everybody for hanging in there, working through it. And, as a district, we may have to pivot one or two more times before the 26th, depending on what we're looking. But I think everyone's done an outstanding job, from district administration to teachers to everybody in the district. So, thank you.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
And that's part of why you have a mission and a vision and core beliefs, because that's what you anchor to. And because believe me, and these are the things that maybe we've had tough discussions in meetings, where people are frustrated trying to figure things out. But man, it has been so inspiring because the collaboration that has occurred, and that's really in times of like this, collaboration is so key. And we've really come to some and we're looking at it as an opportunity, not as an obstacle. And they've really come together, and that's teachers and administration. It's just been a pleasure.
Yeah.
well, and I don't want to be the gloomy guy in the room, but all the things you're setting up for dealing with COVID are good to set up, because I wouldn't be surprised in 5 years something like this happens again.
Oh man,
Just from my little...
was that sarcasm, Mike? Was that sarcasm?
No, that was not sarcasm. That's actually being honest. All right, let's move on to, we have an executive session tonight. We need to meet to discuss a personnel matter. I move to enter into executive session pursuant to the Kansas Open Meetings Act for matters relating to personnel matters for non-elected personnel, in order to protect the privacy interests of the identifiable individual. The open meeting will resume in the boardroom at,
I would say 15 minutes, Mike.
okay, 8:15. In addition to the board, the superintendent, the assistant superintendent and director of curriculum, the assistant superintendent of business services, the director of special education, and the board attorney are invited to attend. Do I have a second for my motion?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion items. We can move next door, or
Actually,
would you mind
I think we
if-
could just stay here.
Sarah?
if the visitors don't mind, and Jess doesn't mind walking? Okay.
We just got to wait for all the cameras to get shut down, but he can do
Yep.
that.
I'll continue with my motion. Okay, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Nope. Okay, motion passes 5-0. Please vote electronically. Nope, we won't. Gotta make sure everything's turned off.
Now, will you let us know?
I didn't